Hey everyone, Jim Gale here at Goss Landing, where we have our first fruit and medicinal tree and plant nursery. And folks, the solutions to the world's biggest problems are growing food at home. And that might sound simplistic, but it's absolutely true, and I'm going to demonstrate how it's true. First of all, the UN, farmers around the world, the permaculture movement, they all say that soil is being mined and poisoned and destroyed at a rate that is unsustainable. What does that mean? Well, according to some studies, we have about 60 years, 2 generations of soil left before it's done in our major growing areas, right? That's a big freaking deal. If that's the only reason to take some pressure off the system by growing food at home, that's a good enough reason, isn't it? And what about disease and disease? Why do we have such disease and disease? Well, guess what? Growing food at home will alleviate and almost eliminate all of the major diseases, because they have to do with lifestyle. They have to do with what we eat. And we are not eating well, folks. The food growing nowadays is less nutrient dense, has less nutrition than the food growing 40, 50, 60 years ago. Folks, this is the solution. And what about the supply chain? All right. We have major food security issues right now. Some studies are saying that we're going to have 250 million people starve in the next 12 months because of government-led economic shutdown, lockdown of our society. That's a big reason right there to grow food at home, folks. And what about the taste? When you have a tomato that you grow in your garden, how does that taste compared to one that's bought at the store, that was picked green and shipped and then is ripened on the shelf, turns red, and a lot of times it gets rotten before you even eat the darn thing? Those taste like plastic to me. Taste is huge. And when you grow food at home and you pick it ripe, it's way more nutritious. That's what nature does. It has the solutions, my friends. And what about meditation? Okay. So gardening, I'm sitting out here in this fruit forest. It's absolutely the most peaceful, healthy place I could be right now. I'm just listening to the birds and the bugs. It's paradise. Folks, they have found that gardening has similar benefits to your health as meditation. That's a good enough reason right there. Right? Every one of these reasons is a good enough reason by itself to do this. Right? And what about deforestation? The current agricultural system is the #1 cause of destruction, poisoning, and societal ruin. Our current agricultural system, monocrops are not found in nature the way we're making them happen. And the only way to keep major plagues and locusts and things from destroying crops is by using poisonous chemicals. Well, at least in monocrops, right? That's why we can't have monocrops. We have to have a diversity. I mean, this is loaded with so many different types of food in one small area. Folks, this is the answer to deforestation, which of course affects the mass extinction. We're going through supposedly what scientists say is the 6th great mass extinction of our planet. Species are dying, and a lot of people who understand how important it is to diversify our species think that this is the worst thing in the world right now. I think there's other things just as bad, but even if that's the only reason to grow food at home, it's a good enough reason. And folks, it's easy. This little nursery area we planted, we have maybe spent an hour every 2 weeks here. An hour every 2 weeks. Now, how much time do you spend mowing the lawn? Probably more than that. An hour every 2 weeks, and we got food coming up all over the place. I mean, this right here, I just picked this off the tree back there. That's medicine. It's delicious for juices. This is how nature intended it, my friends. So it get easy. Oh, and what about return on investment? You can install a $4,000 landscape designed food forest that within 3 years will pay you 100% return on investment, maybe even 2 years, maybe even 1 year if you go a little heavier on the annuals than the perennials, right? And I do want to talk about what's the difference. Okay, annuals are plants that you plant, you harvest, and then you replant, right? They're a little more work, but relative to what you benefit, they're still incredibly no-brainer, right? Perennials are things like this mango tree right here. This you plant once and you let nature do its thing, and that's it. Sometimes you have to give it a little help at the beginning. Maybe you have to water it, let it get properly rooted. But then, barring any major floods or droughts, this plant will just flourish for generations to come. There's an olive tree in the Greek Isle of Crete that's been around between 2,000 and 3,000 years. Can you imagine planting that seed? Can you imagine the return on investment on that? All of these plants will provide an epic return on investment. Where else are you going to get 100% ROI in 2 to 3 years, and then 100% or more every year after that? And that's just the cash ROI. I already mentioned all the other ROIs, returns on your investment. And then, folks, what about lightning bugs and butterflies? Do you see as many of those as you did when you were a kid? Well, if you're older like me, you don't. Unless you're in a place like this, of course. And why is that? It's because we're using poisons and chemicals. And those don't just kill what they're supposedly intended to kill. They kill a whole bunch more stuff. So, folks, I just gave you 10 reasons to grow food at home. Every one of them by itself is big enough. We can design a permaculture, edible landscape design that fits your needs, that works with what you desire for your family. We can combine annuals and perennials, and we can make it, if you want less maintenance, we can make it less maintenance than your lawn. If you don't care, if you want to enjoy the time out here with this amazing stuff, then we can put more annuals in, and we could do things that maybe you have to work at 15 minutes every other day, right? How bad is that, right? For what you get out of it, growing food solves the world's biggest problems. It takes out big agriculture, which is the most destructive industry on our planet. It also almost eliminates the need for big pharma, which is probably the second most destructive and controlling industry on our planet. Folks, it's time to grow food. And if you want to get in the business of helping people grow food, get a hold of me, Jim Gale at Food Forest Abundance. We teach people how to go to their communities and create food security, food abundance, and it is so good in every way. So anyway, have a great day. I love you. Let's grow some food. Plant some seeds.